done eating, Deb?
I am still eating my cookie, so
Okay, good. Enjoy. No, and don't let
I've
me stop you.
never. I've always had like a water or a seltzer or a beer, right, while we're recording, but I've never
Sure.
had food. I've never eaten.
Except for
So
this time, I let you into the meeting, and as soon as I see your face, I just see you chomping away at something. And I honestly, I laughed, but I also felt bad. It's like I felt like I interrupted, or I was watching you like at a restaurant. I was looking like you were sitting at a restaurant, eating in the window, and I'm just sitting outside staring. Like, what is she eating? That looks good. That's what it felt like. So, but did I laugh? Yes, I did. Because it
okay.
just, I don't know why, it just struck me as funny today. It was a new one.
I am eating. I know I saw you laughing. I'm like, great. I haven't because I haven't eaten yet. I'm eating one of the Cookie Boss's cookie, Jazz
Yeah.
Yosha. So thank you. There's a little piece right here if you're watching on YouTube.
Is that
I think
the
this is
Fruity Pebble one? It's really good. Shout out to Cookie Boss. You were kind enough to send us some cookies, and I posted this. I shared it to my story, and I said these won't last long, and they're gone. So I was true to my word.
Mhm. Jazz, as soon as well, okay. I don't check my mail every day. I just don't. I live in an apartment. Who is going to mail me things except for my credit card? I don't want to see that.
Sure.
So I just don't check my mail unless someone literally has to say, "Hey, did you get what I sent you?" And then I go check my mail. Right? So I saw your post on the Cookie Boss and I was like, "Oh my god. Did she send us something?" And so I remember that night I got home late that night. And I remember I checked my mail and then there it was. And so Jazz, if you're listening, I took a bite out of each cookie just cause it was really late. I was like, I'm not eating I'm full. Like I can't even eat these, but I had to take a bite out of each cookie. It was so good.
They were delicious. Well, yeah, and Jazz asked, she sent us a DM asking for both of our addresses. I should have given her my work address too and just said, oh, yeah, this is where Deb lives. And then just jacked her cookies. That's what I should have done. I wasn't thinking.
I know, and I would have never known.
I know. Dang it. I had a great opportunity. That's a nice thing when they go through the connectable DMs. I can just say whatever I want. It's like, yeah, Deb's not interested in this. Just send it to me. I'll find a good home for it, probably mine, and it'll be, we'll be done with it. So
Until you post something, and then I'll be like, "Where was mine?" I
they
swear.
just gave it to their favorite host. I'm sorry, Deb. You know what I mean? I'll figure something out. But too late. You got your cookies, and I'm glad you're enjoying them. They were delicious. Mine are gone, and yeah, very tasty.
Did you put yours in the microwave too?
No,
Before
no, they didn't make it to the microwave. They barely made it to the door.
this was last night. I had one of them in the microwave, and then I just literally right before I logged on, I put it in the microwave. I ran around and did some things around my apartment, and then I put it here, and I logged on, and that's when you let
And
me
she
in.
shoved a cookie in her mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's exactly what I. So
Well, good. Hey, don't let me stop you. Don't let me stop you.
just keep eating.
Um, and if you're only listening and not watching, it didn't stop her because she just popped another piece in her mouth. So if you hear any chewing, and if you're a person who does not like chewing on the mic,
So
I don't know
good.
what to tell you. It never really bothers me.
I don't even have a mic. Okay, I'm trying to get that
That's a
fixed.
good point. Very good point.
I have a mic, but because I got my new MacBook, it doesn't plug in. Anyway, it doesn't, I don't have an adapter for it. So hopefully I'm getting one soon because I have another change that's coming. You ready for this?
Oh, dropping news. What's up?
Drum roll, please. And no shocker to anyone that knows me very well, but I'm moving again. Yay!
Oh my gosh. Now, are you moving far? And
Um,
I'll be honest, it's great for you that you're moving, but I'm actually concerned more about the connection because this has been a fantastic situation. So selfishly, I'm like, man, this is not going to be, it's a little bit of a dice, 50-50 dice roll. Go ahead.
you're in luck because I'm just moving downstairs.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Is that better reception?
We'll find out.
All right.
Um,
Are you too
and
noisy upstairs? Is that why?
yeah, I'm just with this. It's your fault. It's podcasting. And
Whoa, 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 whoa. I was thinking more that you walk around like Bigfoot,
they
which we know you don't. That was one of your pet peeves. So we know you don't. I'm just saying. Okay, so why are you moving? If you don't mind us asking. I'm asking for
So
everybody.
I'm actually moving into a 2-bedroom so that I can have a podcasting room, podcasting slash massage room.
Okay. Okay. Let's nice try.
But
You notice
no,
how
it is
I
gonna
didn't jump right in though. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I'm like, wait for it.
it's
And a massage room. I knew it was coming, but
gonna be
I'm still honored and very touched that you would even consider podcasting a part of your life. So thank you.
it's gonna be dual. But yeah, it's literally I'm in the same building. I'm not moving apartment complexes. I'm not even moving buildings. I'm just going downstairs and down the hall.
Very
So
cool. That's exciting.
yeah. So you'll see a new background if you're watching on YouTube the next time we record.
So if this is your massage room too, is it going to be like a lot of incense, a lot of burning candles in the background, like a statue of Buddha or something?
So yeah, something like that. We'll
Okay,
see. I'm trying to find the feng shui of it still. So
sure.
let's see.
Yeah, like one of those little Zen gardens with like the little like
Yeah.
rake. All right. Well,
Or
that's very
it'll
exciting.
yeah. So it'll be a new so next time I log on, don't be surprised if you don't see the normal background.
Ah, no, not the
Mhm.
blue pictures.
Those will be
What are we?
some
What are we gonna do?
my blue my blue ocean like pictures.
I know. I could let you borrow. So I have two more of the lights behind me. You could really just create
Okay.
a nice ambiance.
Good. We could have the same
Yeah,
ambiance.
we could. I do kind of like the fact that when people come on, it's like, oh, yours is really cool, and they don't say anything about yours. I do enjoy that.
Yours is like a mermaid vibe right now. I'm really digging it. So
Okay, well, I deserve that. I didn't appreciate it, but I did deserve it for all the crap I'm talking. All right. So you missed Mermaid Con.
I can't tell you. Sorry, I just ate another piece of cookie.
That's all right.
I can't tell you how many DMs I got from people that hey, MermaCon's happening. I'm like, I know. I'm in massage school this week and I can't go.
Yeah.
And so maybe next year.
Oh yeah, maybe. That the picture or the video you posted was the most ridiculous thing because you had mermaids swimming laps in a pool.
That's
This
like
is
exactly why I posted it. It was amazing. I was like, this looks so beautiful.
it was the most it was just it was the most nonsensical thing I've seen. I couldn't even because I had to respond to your story. I couldn't even get the words out to respond. I sent a GIF. That's all I could do. I'm like, this is the only thing I can respond with because this is crazy that people would do this. You know, you should have done. You should have set up a booth at the Mermaid Con, a
I don't know.
massage booth,
I plan on doing that one day.
and it's half off because you don't have to massage the mermaid's lower half. Did you squeak? I don't know if anybody else heard that. Maybe it's just my headphones. But did you squeak?
I had food in my mouth. I had to do.
No, that's fine. But did you squeak?
Totally squeak.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I'm not crazy. Okay. It's like Deb either squeaked or there's a mouse somewhere in my office. It's only two things.
Oh man, I'm definitely setting up a massage table there. That would be
You
awesome.
should. I mean, mermaids need massages too.
Yeah. So yeah, next year I will be there. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. I have
All
to
right.
get
Hopefully not. For your sake, hopefully not. And if you do go, just maybe skip the following week's podcast because that's not going to be fun for you.
I think everyone will want to hear about it. So I'll just
Maybe some people. Yeah, you know what? You're right. People would probably be. I think at this point, people are invested in this whole mermaid thing.
I know people know I like mermaids. I accept mermaid gifts anytime. If anyone sees a mermaid thing, I will take it. It's
All right. If any listener out there wants to send her a gift, let me know. I have her address.
mermaid
send
anything mermaid. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. The gauntlet's been thrown down. We have a little challenge for everybody. Let's find the most unique mermaid. Send a real mermaid if you want. Just put like a tank of water in front of her door and just let the mermaid slosh around until she gets back from work. That'd be a big surprise.
It's very rom-com. Did you see what I did there?
Oh, I did. Very nice. Anyways, enough of the nonsense. We're talking. It's been a little while since we've recorded just the two of us. And so we thought, you know, as always, we try to think of different things that we could talk about. We thought, let's just do a fun one. I'm sure the last one we did was fun. I can't remember what it was, but let's make sure this is just a fun, silly one. And at first it was gonna be a top five. And then we thought, no, we're gonna do a little bit differently. If you guys remember, we did a music episode, and instead of doing our top five music things, we basically had questions or prompts. And then we picked specific songs that fit into those questions, or for us personally. And so we thought we'd do the same thing with romantic comedies, because I feel like whether you like romantic comedies, whether you dislike them, I feel like one way or the other, I feel like it is a good connection point for a lot of people, right? Because I feel like I've heard people have whole conversations bashing certain romantic comedies or certain actors or actresses that do romantic comedies all the time. Or you have whole conversations about, hey, I love this romantic comedy. Oh, I love all romantic comedies. And then it becomes a huge thing. So I think movies in general are a great way to connect with people. And I think, this specific genre too, a lot of people connect over it, for the good or the bad. Some people probably have stories like, oh, that romantic comedy really hit home because I dealt with someone just like that, and it was a bad part of my life. Whatever it may be, people relate to them. And so we thought it'd be fun to kind of go through some different questions about romantic comedies specifically. And I was thinking, Deb, before we jump into it, this might be a fun thing to do for other movie genres as well. Maybe get other people involved too. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. We'll see how this one goes first. This may be a complete trash and they're like, never do that again, but we'll see.
This will be a nice
So
test run for sure.
yeah, so we each have a couple of questions. We probably won't get through all of them. Maybe we will. We'll see how fast they go. But let's just do this. You want to start off with the first one being, what is your favorite romantic comedy?
Yes, we'll just start from there. So okay. I can't say I have a favorite, but I will say I have a favorite right now.
Okay.
Just I watched it recently, and it just kind of is the theme of my life anyway. And I've always liked it ever since it's came out. It's come out. But it's a movie called How to Be Single.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it. So
who's in that?
Gosh, Dakota Johnson.
Okay, gotcha.
And I can't remember the other stars' names, but it's
I haven't seen it, but I'm familiar with the movie.
There's a few like SNL people in there, I think, or maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Anyway, it's anyone who's listening hopefully has seen it or not, but it's cute because it follows a few different storylines of like different people's lives, but they're kind of intermingled, if that makes sense. Kind of like not, okay, hang on. So the movies like
Rebel Wilson.
Yes, Rebel. Thank you.
Oh, a few people: Leslie Mann, Allison Brie.
Yeah,
there's quite a few people in this movie.
Okay, that's Allison Brie, Leslie Mann. Yes, I'm like, oh, I can't think right now, but it's really cute because it focuses on Dakota Johnson's life as at the beginning she's like in a relationship, and then the movie actually starts out by her telling her boyfriend, I think we need to, because they just got out of college, find out who we are. So I think we should break up for a little bit.
Okay.
And like floored, right? And so she's like, we need to figure out how to be single. But throughout the process, she realizes she doesn't know how to be single. And she tries to get back with him, but he's already found another girl. So she's like in this weird phase. Anyway, the whole movie just kind of, it's basically like the tagline and what the movie's called, How to Be Single. But it's really cute. It's really, obviously I'm all for the female empowerment movies. So I've seen it many times, and I watched it again the other night, and I'm like, this is just a really good movie. I just enjoy it right now. So that's my favorite rom-com. If it's considered, I guess it's considered a rom-com. Yeah.
I think so. Well, I haven't seen it either way. So if you say so, I'll believe you.
So right now, otherwise, I love Devil Wears Prada. That's just a classic rom-com for me. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my plain and simple. That's my favorite rom-com right now.
Very nice. So here's when I thought of this question, because I figured this would be just a perfect one to start with. There's one movie that came to mind immediately, which I think has been probably my favorite since it came out, and I don't think it's really changed much. But there have been a couple that I'll quickly mention that I really enjoyed. I'll mention those first, and then I'll mention the actual favorite. So I consider this a rom-com, Couples Retreat. I love that movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love that movie. It's just it's a lot of fun. A lot of people I love in that movie. It's an awesome place where it's set. Yeah, my wife and I, we love that movie. We've watched that one so many times. So that's up there for sure. Crazy Stupid Love. I love that movie too. you got Michael Scott, who
Mhm.
is just, I love him and most of the things he does. And so, again,
Yep.
that's another movie that my wife and I watch all the time. We love it. And then this one is probably newer to the list, but it's, I always consider it more of a comedy, but I think it's technically a romantic comedy. She's Out of My League. Is have you seen that one before?
I
It's
don't
very
think
funny.
I know I've heard of it. There's a lot of movies that I've heard of, but like haven't like seen. But no, okay.
Yeah, that one's great. Like I said, that one for me is almost falls more in the comedy, but like it is about a guy and his relationship with this woman that he meets at the airport and this whole thing. But um, really funny. I think that movie's hilarious. But the number one for me, the one that I would consider like the top dog for romantic comedies, Hitch.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hitch is probably my favorite because Hitch came out when we were in high school, and
Okay.
so I remember seeing that, and that which is funny because like at that time, I mean, I watched it, but I'm like, I'll watch it, but I wasn't thinking much of it, right? Like I'm not really into movies that much at that point, not as much as I am now. And so my
Yeah.
appreciation for it, going into it probably wasn't as high, or my anticipation for it. And then once I saw it, I just fell in love with that movie. Like I just think, I mean, Will Smith in that movie is the coolest guy.
Yeah.
And just the Kevin James and him, their banter back and forth is hilarious to me. And I will say though, because it happened in high school, I do remember when that movie came out. I saw it, and then I feel like the next couple weeks after that, there were a couple people in high school that I think started dressing a little nicer, and kind of, I think they were feeling themselves too much. Like I think Hitch had uh, a bad, it was a bad example for them because they started doing some weird things. I'm like, oh, you shouldn't have seen Hitch because I think you forgot that you're not Will Smith. You're not even close to him. And so some of the stuff that he does, you can't do. But they
Right.
really tried hard. And you could tell. It's like, did you watch Hitch this weekend? I did. We all could tell because you're changing the way you dressed, the way you're walking with a little more swagger. Like it was a weird thing. There's a couple of people specifically I can remember doing that. So, maybe not the best for everybody. Maybe it was a bad example, but for me, I thought that was a cool movie, and it's still probably one of my favorites. Probably the favorite for me.
Hitch is good. I've seen it. Hitch isn't, I don't know why, but it's not my top, but it is a lot of people's top favorites. A
Hmm.
lot of people that I talk to, mostly guys too. I don't know why, but it's a guy. Maybe because Will Smith is the main character, and sometimes in rom-coms the guy is not the main character. If that makes sense.
I think
I
that's
don't
probably
know
a big
why.
part of it.
It could
I
be a
think it's a
big.
big part of it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but for a lot of people, a lot of more so my guy friends, they like that. They love that movie in terms of rom-coms. That or The Notebook. So I don't know what the connection is there, but
That's weird. Yeah, I don't see a connection there at all, but maybe there is a deeper connection there. But no, I agree with you. I think everything you just said, I completely agree with because I feel like a lot of dudes do. If they had to choose one, that would be the one they choose. Um, and like you said, maybe it is because the focus is a male character, and like I said, like I think especially when you're younger, you watch that movie and it's like this guy is just like, if I could be like even half that cool, I'd be
yeah.
set. You know what I mean? It's just something about him is just he's a very just a cool guy. Kind of like when you watch like Ocean's 11. Like, there's like no one cooler than Danny Ocean. Like George Clooney is just the coolest guy. You know what I mean? You can't explain it. It's just he's just a cool guy. You know what I mean? Some people are like, I hate George Clooney. It's like, oh, I don't have to tell you. For me, he was cool in that movie. So, but yeah, Hitch is my number one.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, hang on.
So you want to go
Okay.
with one of your questions?
Okay, yes. Well, okay. Okay, one of the ones that I sent you, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Did I not understand the assignment? Are we doing 5 for each category?
What do you mean?
Like whatever the question we did, we're doing top 5 for
For
each
each? No, 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 no. I just
Okay.
no. I was just rattling off like
Like, dang,
my,
Josh.
yeah,
I
no.
only had like 2. Okay.
Surprise. I just want to make you seem like you were unprepared. No, I was just listing more because like I said, initially, I don't think I finished this thought. Initially, I thought, okay, Hitch is number one. And then the
Nice.
more I thought about like all these other movies that I really enjoy started coming in, it's like, oh yeah, I guess that would be considered a romantic comedy. So I was just doing extra credit, just throwing some other movies out there.
Right.
So no, just one per.
Okay, no one likes an overachiever, A, but B.
Coming from a teacher seems weird, but that's all right.
So rude. I'm so rude to my kids. My actual kids
Well,
are
look,
older.
there we go.
I'm like, stop. They're like, how do I get extra credit? I'm like, you have a 95% in my class. What do you mean? How do you get extra credit? I need 100%. And I'm like, bro, you don't get A pluses anymore. They don't hand out, if they don't, it's A or A minus. I want 100%. Anyway, that's a whole tangent.
Which
You're like that student. Just kidding.
I don't know how to take that. Like, part of me is offended. The other part of me is like, you think I give 100% on this podcast, which I do appreciate. Also, you could probably do a little extra credit. That's fine though. It's a different topic for another day.
I'm the student who's like teetering at like a C- D+, and the teacher's like, "Are you sure you don't want to do extra credit?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm passing. I'm good."
Oh, that's very generous. I was thinking you were the student in the back of the class that the teacher forgets you're a part of the class. It's like, oh yeah, I do have Deb in my class. What's her grade? I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, she's back there though. She showed up.
I do. I have kids like that who are barely getting by it. I'm like, my class, they're just like so under the radar. So
sometimes under the bleachers. Yeah.
I just don't even know where they are, and they're passing. I don't know how they're passing. Anyway.
It's a miracle. Anyways.
Okay. So let's do, so we did favorite rom-com. Can we go to favorite old school rom-com really quick?
Sure.
Did you find a favorite? Okay. So you texted me when you're like, what year are we talking? So old school, I'm just going with anything before the year 2000, which is obviously 23 years ago or more. And
sure.
To us, to me, that's not old school just because when we were younger. Anyway, so.
That's what I wanted to ask. I wanted to clarify because I don't want to come in here with something from like 2010 and like, then it's like old school. So I just want to make sure we were on the same page. So that way, if people do take shots at us on social media, then we're in it together.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I picked a movie from 1999.
Okay.
So,
that's why you chose 2000. All right.
That's exactly why I said 2000 or below, I guess.
All right. Let's hear it.
Never Been Kissed.
Okay. That's probably a big, well, especially for that time and like the people like our age, their lives, right? That was a big one for sure.
Yeah. So in 1999, we were in what, 5th grade, 6th grade, 4th, whatever. We were
around
like,
there, yeah.
Right. That with Drew Barrymore, that is just like, I could still watch it to this day and not get tired of it. It's just classic.
Okay.
It's so cute. Although as a teacher from this, so if you if you haven't seen it, this 25-year-old girl who works at a newspaper company goes undercover and goes and like, is at a high school, whatever. So now from a teacher's standpoint, I'm like, that is so wrong. Like, how did she not go to jail? How was that legal at all, posing as a high school student? And that poor high school teacher, like how they fell in love and like you could tell he was like struggling, but she's 25 and he's young. He looks like he's like 30.
Yeah.
Maybe. But anyway, there's no way there can be a remake of that these days. No way.
No, not at all.
I don't know. So anyway,
no, 100% no. Now it's a documentary called never mind. It's a different situation now, but I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this. Okay. And please, like, this is going to sound horrible. I'm going to say this one time and then I'm going to just let you continue with what you're saying. But it just seems weird that, like, again, the whole situation is messed up. It's not a good thing, but especially if he's going to risk it all, it's weird that he would risk it all for Drew Barrymore. I'm just going to say it. Am I wrong there?
Drew Barrymore, I think, is hit or miss. You either are attracted to her or you're not, I think.
Sure. Apparently the teacher was, but I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, if,
right.
Again, I can't, I'm not going to dismiss the idea that the whole concept is really, really bad. But if he's going to do it, that seems like a bad choice.
If it was like, Jessica Alba or something, I don't know.
It would be a different situation.
See?
No, I'm just kidding.
It is. It's
still wrong, but I understand what
I mostly just like the storyline of how she finds herself and finds confidence within herself. And again, it's not so much the love story at the end because kind of, right?
Sure. Well, you're also a teacher, so you see it from a different source.
I'm a teacher. Yeah. I'm like, I don't ever want that to happen to me. Like, just no, like, that's just, it's wrong. Anyway.
Yes.
I want to think about it. So, but just the whole thing in general, I just like how she transforms.
Yes.
And and how she stands up for herself to the mean girls and blah,
sure.
blah, blah. So it's just a cute classic. Back in the day, obviously wasn't a big deal, like, type of movie, but I think today, that's why there is no remake of it today.
It's a tough go. You have to change it a little bit.
Yeah.
has to become like a college thing or something. I mean, it had to be, and even then it's kind of dicey, but
I gotta do some extra credit, just like you did on the last category. So my other
oh
one would be She's All That, because there was a remake of that movie, He's
yeah,
All That. I don't know
yeah,
if you okay, so I thought they were both great. She's All That is classic. I didn't
yeah.
look up, when that one came out, but when they did the remake of He's All That, I thought they did a great job. I was like, I remember sitting down one night and I'm like, okay, I'm either going to tear this movie apart because She's All That is my jam, and let me see how this generation redid He's All That. I thought they did good. I thought it was appropriate for this generation. So I thought it was a good movie. It was cute.
Okay. I've not seen that one. I've seen I've seen the original, but not the
The
no,
remake.
I haven't seen the remake.
It's the opposite. It's basically the popular girl who's a social media influencer, shocker.
That
One,
was Allison Ray or
yeah,
Addison Ray.
yeah, makes over this guy who's like, just introverted, like just kind of emo, kind of.
It's from Karate Kid.
Huh?
Or no, not Karate Kid. Geez, I'm butchering these names. He's from Cobra Kai. The kid from Cobra Kai.
Not him? I don't watch Cobra Kai. I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
yes. I'm
You just
like,
gotta trust me, he is. Yeah.
okay, yes. And so it was cute the way they did it and the way they put in original characters in that movie. That's good. So that I think She's All That and He's All That, those two combined are like just in addition to Never Been Kissed. Those are my favorite rom-coms. They're just classic, old
Yeah.
school rom.
Good choices. Good choices. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a huge fan of Never Been Kissed. I've seen it a couple times. Not a huge fan, probably because of all the reasons I already said, which I'm not going to get into again. And then, but I did enjoy. I did enjoy She's All That. I was a fan of that one back in the day.
Cool.
Yeah. So mine, I went a little bit further back
Okay.
than you, and I don't watch this movie a ton, but I feel like when it's on TV, I will catch myself like stopping to watch it. It's Pretty Woman.
Oh yeah, I almost put that one too. That's a good one.
I love that movie. Like I enjoy that one. I think they do a great job, and it's interesting too. And we can get to this for a different question, but like it is interesting when you have certain people. Like the chemistry thing really does make a big difference when you have two like actor and actress that are working together. Sometimes it's like okay, I mean it's fine, and the other times like these two like you really buy it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that was always a big deal with the two of them, even like with Runaway Bride, right? Like they got back together and they still seem to connect in that way, which obviously helps. Oh, look at that connectable connection. And I think it helps, when they connect on screen, I think it helps the audience connect to the movie better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Like you hear that. And then I think when you see it, like a couple of actors and actresses, make it work on screen, it's pretty obvious. And I always felt like that was the case with them. But I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That one and Runaway Bride. Yeah, those are both good ones. Julia
Yep.
Roberts, she's awesome. I love her.
She's good.
Yeah, she does a good job. She goes way back and she does current stuff too. That's what I like about her too.
Oh yeah. She's very, very talented lady.
Very versatile.
Big fan.
Yeah. All
Sounds
right.
good.
That was my favorite old school rom-com.
Okay. Okay. Well, since I already brought it up, the chemistry thing. The funny thing in some of these movies is when you have a situation, I know it's part of like the charm of these stories, but it's still weird sometimes when you have like a very unlikely pairing, right? You look at it and you think, and if you were at a restaurant in real life and you saw these two sitting at a table together, it's like, huh, not sure. That's interesting. I would not have expected those two people to get together. And so I'm sure people that are listening right now have friends and family that think the same thing. It's like, I don't know how that happened, but good for that person. They made it work. So is there a movie that comes to mind or maybe like I guess a movie or a person or a grouping of people that you think of when it's like, okay, that's like the most unlikely pairing in a romantic comedy?
Okay, so I was torn. So I gotta go with Shallow Hal.
Oh, I didn't even think about Shallow Hal. Good
One,
call.
right? Gwyneth Paltrow and Jack Black. Although in the movie, like Gwyneth Paltrow is portrayed to the public in a different light than to Jack Black, right? Like,
Right.
but I'm just going with what I saw, like if you see it on camera with what Jack Black saw, and that's why his best friend was so like, not his best friend, but that's why Jack Black was so like, why are you into me? You know what I'm saying? Just because it's Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous. And Jack Black, is just this goofy, like funny. I love him, by the way. He's
Yeah.
really funny in so many movies. Oh my God. And he's very versatile too. But
Hmm.
that is just such an unlikely pair for sure. And then another thing I'm thinking of is Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler when they're in their movies together. So they have Murder Mystery and they have Just Go With It. And that's a really funny pair as well, because
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston is just, I mean, come on. And then Adam Sandler is just like, just this
He's very funny.
very funny. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I thought of when I can think of unlikely pairings.
That's awesome. That was a great shot. I didn't even think about. I like that movie. Shallow Hal was a great call.
Oh, Hal is awesome. I love that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very good call.
Yeah.
It's funny you say, because my thing was I just put Adam Sandler because I feel like a lot of the movies he's in, it's
He's
tough.
with like he's with like the hottest chicks in all of his movies. I'm like, of course.
Well, and again, just to kind of give you an idea of the movies that my wife Rachel and I watch here, we love Just Go With It. I'm not even like the biggest Adam Sandler fan. We
Yeah.
love that movie. We laugh at that movie,
Yeah.
and he's with two incredibly attractive women in that same in the same movie. He does it
Yep.
twice. He hears all the people like us saying like it makes no sense. He's like, cool, I'm gonna double down in this movie with
Mhm.
two people that are way more attractive than I am, and you're just gonna have to deal with it and accept it. But you know what's funny though is like it doesn't bother me when I watch these movies. Like if I really think about it, it's like this makes no sense. But when I watch the movie, it's like I could see it. You know what I mean? Because I think the person that they're playing opposite of is so charismatic or so silly, or there's again goes back to the connection thing. There's such a
Right.
good connection that you kind of buy it,
Yeah.
or you at least don't think about it as much. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
That's
so I put Adam Sandler in the movie that I thought of specifically was
go with it.
Just Go With It. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because he has like two hot chicks with him. And it's like, of course, he can do that. He's Adam Sandler. But it does make the whole chemistry of the movie, it just makes it funny. I think that's why it's funny too.
I think so. And I
It's
think you realize, I think I've heard in interviews that they're actually fairly close friends too. So then it makes some more sense there. Why is a fun interaction? But
exactly.
yeah, that is. I mean, like I said, I just put Adam Sandler because I feel like in so many of the movies that he's been in,
Yeah.
that's the case, right? Because I even think about those movies, Grown Ups. His wife is Salma Hayek. So again, you
Yeah.
know, uh,
Billy Madison, like that hot teacher
yes,
chick.
yep,
Yeah.
Billy Madison,
Uh-huh. Happy
Happy
Gilmore.
Gilmore, all of them, all of
Anything.
them.
Even.
Even the
Even the
water
pool
boy.
boy.
Yeah, see, we're on the same. Like they tried to make her like white trash, but it's like we all know,
Yeah,
we see past this. We know what's going
exactly.
on here.
Yeah.
Good call. We're on the same page. Yeah,
Vicky,
it's
Vicky Valancourt. Was that her name? Vicky,
yeah,
what did I say right?
Vicky Valancourt. Yeah, good call. Okay, so we're on the same page there. Yeah, on the
Okay.
same page. All right, what do you got, Deb?
Okay. Let's see. Let's go to a classic rom-com you haven't seen.
Okay.
Um, I mean, there's a lot that I haven't seen. I don't know if you want to go first.
Oh yeah, I'll go first. I'm ready. There's because again, there's probably a ton.
There's a lot I haven't seen. Yeah.
So again, I did some extra credit. Not a big deal. But a couple of them. Oh, wait a minute. Where's my list? Oh, okay. When Harry Met Sally, that's like
Okay. I haven't
a
seen that
big
one
one.
either.
I don't have any
Okay.
desire to, I'm just like, I'm good. Sleepless in Seattle, never seen it.
Ooh, I feel like I have, but I don't remember it. So I didn't, obviously wasn't too exciting to me if I did see it.
See,
Okay.
there you go. And I'm going to say this one thing. And again, this might make some people upset. I don't care because I feel very strongly about this. I've seen one movie with this particular actor, and he's done a decent amount of rom-coms. I don't like him. I don't find him funny. I'm just like, I'm good. I'm not gonna see any of his movies. So I've seen one movie out of respect to my wife, and I just told her, I said, yeah, I'm probably good from now on. If you want to watch one of these movies with this dude, I'm probably out. I uh Hugh Grant, excuse me. Hugh Grant.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's funny. I think he's a weird looking guy, so I don't get it. And it's not like the Adam Sandler thing where it's like, oh, at least he's charming. I don't like him. I don't think he's funny. That's the thing that bums me out the most. So I've seen Notting Hill. Um, I did not enjoy that experience, and I have not seen anything with him since, and I refuse to. So I'm good.
So because you made the comment about Drew Barrymore earlier, you probably will not like music and lyrics then, because that's with both of them, Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant.
Not for me. Not for
That's
me.
a
So if you're
cute one. That is actually an unlikely couple as well, I have to say. That's an unlikely couple.
that's interesting. So I thought it makes a lot of sense.
No.
Oh, all right. But I haven't seen the movie. Not going to see the movie. Just, I don't, yeah. So that's just
Okay.
me. That might offend some people because obviously he knows what he's doing because he's been in a lot of those movies and they're popular ones, right? Like Notting Hill, the Christmas one. I can't remember the name of it. Not Four Christmases. What's it called?
Mm.
There's like a popular Christmas one
With
with
Hugh.
Jack. I think with Jack Black.
Oh, The Holiday.
Isn't he in that?
No, you're
I think
thinking
of another British guy. Oops.
British guy. A way more attractive one, I think.
Probably.
It's
I mean, it can't get worse.
okay, I'll have to look it up because I have that in my list of things somewhere for the topics for tonight. That movie.
See, there's a
Um,
bunch of them that I'm like, I'm just not interested in. So, yeah, Hugh Grant. I'm sorry, you can go kick rocks.
Hold on, I gotta look it up now. I feel like the word his I'm just blanking right now, otherwise I would know. But his it's oh no, not Grant, it's Jude Law. You're thinking of Jude Law.
Sorry, Jude. I
Jude Law.
meant,
I,
but
he's
I think he's in one of those
probably
types of movies. Okay, well, you give me yours. I'm gonna look it up.
I just have one. There's many I have. Okay, so like all the ones you've listed, basically, I haven't seen Notting Hill. I haven't seen. I feel like I've seen Sleepless in Seattle, but I haven't. I don't know. Anyway, but I haven't seen Princess Bride.
I'm with you.
Okay, I
I've
haven't
seen
seen.
pizza. I've seen pieces of it. That's it.
Okay, and
People
that's right.
love that movie though.
I know, and yeah, like when we were texting before this, so I was having some beer with my coworker Kaylin, and
Right.
she was like, "What? You haven't seen Princess Bride?" I was like, "No, there's a lot of movies I haven't seen, and people like just lose their mind when I tell them I haven't seen it. Like I just
Oh,
haven't."
I know. I just had that conversation again. This is not a Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the list of Hugh Grant movies, and they're all trash. So to me, people they're very popular, so I can't say they're trash for everybody. For me, I'm like I'm good. Um, but no, I was talking to people about someone the other day about I haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings. I haven't seen any of the Harry Potters, and anytime I say that, I got to strap up my boxing gloves. They're like ready to fight. Like I don't know. I just don't, Game of Thrones, same thing. I'm not interested. Not interested.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I've done Harry Potter. I've done the whole Twilight series. I have not. I could not get into Lord of the Rings. I've
Mm-mm.
seen Game of Thrones, but I think we've talked about this before. Someone has to sit next to me and like tell me everything that's happening because I don't
Right.
understand
Right.
anything. Like just I'm lost. But yeah, I
Oh,
haven't seen.
sorry. Love Actually.
Oh, I
That's a
don't think.
that's a Christmas one, isn't it?
I think so, and that's another Office reference. So is Princess Bride, and I don't think I've seen that one either.
Okay, so I wasn't crazy. It was the wrong Christmas movie, but yes,
Okay. Okay.
haven't
Haven't
seen it. Never will.
seen. Never will.
Yeah.
Two grants in it. Okay.
Yeah. That would be like one of those situations where if it was the, Desert Island game
Yeah.
and that was the only movie, boom, frisbeeing it into the ocean.
Done.
I'm going no TV.
Okay. None. Okay. What's another topic that you have?
Okay, let me see. Sorry, I put my notes away because I was so
Yeah, I
passionate
can't.
about that.
All right.
Okay, this will be a quick one. What is your favorite romantic comedy location? Like the location where a movie was set.
So, okay, I have two of them because
Okay.
I want a summer one and I want a wintry one. So the summer one is anything tropic, like Hawaii, like couples retreat is like in
I'll
the
say it.
tropics.
That's mine. That was mine.
Okay, the tropics, it's just so relaxing. I'm like, yes, I want to be there. It's like so nice. Like just go with it and couples retreat. Or I need like a snowy Christmassy vibe, like in
Okay.
England, like in the holiday. You haven't seen that one yet, but that one's cute. The holiday. So,
Well, I thought Hugh Grant was in it, so that's why I didn't see it.
oh,
No.
Jude Law, it's better. Jude Law, Cameron Diaz, Jack Black, Kate Winslet. It's classic. That one's a good one.
All right, I'll check it out maybe.
That's my favorite. Around the holidays, I will always watch that movie. It's really good.
Oh, that
Anyway,
doesn't even cross my mind in the holidays, but okay, I'll take your word for it.
yeah, a snowy Christmassy vibe. I want like that. That one's in England, I believe.
How do you feel about like the big city movies? Because I feel like a lot of those movies take place in like New York. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like the big
So
cities. They're just walking around all over the place.
I'm obviously a fan of Sex in the City because
Sure.
I'm watching it. I like it, and maybe it's because I don't live there, and so I don't have to like experience the negative parts of it, and I
Sure.
just like the cool like city vibe part of it on the movies and the TV shows. But How to Be Single is based in New York, so there's that vibe too. So that's my favorite rom-com right now. So I like watching those as well. It's just very interesting. I visited New York one time a few years ago over Christmas break with Jamie. So she and I just said deuces to our families. We're like, sorry, we're not going to be home for Christmas. We're going to New York. We're having a girlfriend vacation. So so that was really cool. But I don't mind the city vibes. So I don't know. It's just that was a good category because I'm like, I didn't think about that like location. But city vibes is cool too.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, I mean, I get why they do it because there's a lot there. And like when you're making the movie, right, there's just a lot of things you can do. There's a lot more people. So I imagine that the dating scene in those situations is probably very different than like a small town, right? And it's probably a little bit more exciting, a little bit more. There's more you can do there, so I get it. But
Right.
yeah, no, I love the beach. I've gone on record many times in this podcast saying that that's my thing. So yeah, the first thing that came to mind was Couples Retreat. I did double check because I don't want to sound like an idiot. Like this is considered a rom com, right?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. They consider it a rom com, so I'm gonna roll with it. And then yeah, just go with it. The Hawaii thing, like Forgetting Sarah Marshall popped up,
Oh yeah, that's a good
which
yeah.
it's funny. I consider that more of a comedy too, but I guess that really is a rom com.
Anything that's comedy with like at least one love interest, I consider a rom-com.
Okay, perfect. That works. I had another one too, but I crossed it off my list. I didn't think it really worked, but can't remember what it was. But yeah, no, yeah, I definitely lean more towards the beach thing.
Yeah.
I feel like the Hallmark Channel loves the snowy weather though. I feel like snowy weather, and it's like it can be the middle of summer. It's like we have a snowy love story. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So but that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Both lovely settings. But yeah, so anyways, that was mine. Just location. I like a nice sunny, warm location.
Nice. Same.
Do you have any
Cool.
more?
I don't know if this was me or you. This question, the best rom-com kiss. Did I ever think of
That
that?
was you. That was you.
Okay. Okay. So we can go with that one. And there were a few more that you came up with that were really good that we need to talk about still.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Okay. So do you want me to go first? Or do you want to go first on the best rom-com kiss? You're not going to like mine.
Well, you're not gonna like mine. So because it was a really good question, but I really struggled. I had like what, a couple hours to think about it. I was really struggling because
Last minute, I just said, here's another one.
or yeah, when I watch rom-coms, I'm like a 6-year-old boy. It's like, ew, yucky, kissing. I haven't seen one before. I think so. You know, it's funny. So the first thing that came to my mind is I'm not at all a romantic comedy, but I feel like anytime you see these like those BuzzFeed articles or anything like that that say like, oh, top 10 kissing things ever, Spider-Man was the first thing that came to mind.
Oh, that's a good one because he's upside
And it's
down.
like in the
That was a
rain.
good
It's
one.
like an iconic, you know what I mean? She kind of flips the mask.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm like, that's not, I took that off the table because I know that's not a romantic comedy, but literally that's the first thing that pops in. At first I'm like, oh, easy, Spider-Man. And I'm like, nope, doesn't count. Because it's not a romantic comedy. You know what I mean? I
that
feel
was
like
a
it was cheating. I mean, we had to have some rules here. We operate with no boundaries or rules on this podcast most of the time, anyways. We got to put something in place. And so I was really struggling to think of like, you know, you have like the Notebook kiss and the rain and all that stuff. Like there's all of those. I'm also a guy, so like that's not like a, oh my gosh, that kiss was amazing. It was not so much a thing for me. So literally the next thing that came to mind was two scenes from Hitch. One where Kevin James practices kissing Will Smith and he goes too far and actually kisses him. I think that's hilarious. And then the awkward first kiss that Kevin James's character has with the woman that he's, pursuing
Mhm.
on the steps. And it's like the most awkward thing. Like he does everything wrong. He's just sitting like this the whole time. And she's just looking at him like, all right, this guy's kind of cute. He's trying his best. Let me kiss him.
He's trying his best.
So those are the two things that came to mind. Not the sexy, romantic kiss that most people would think of, but it's like they were funny to me. I enjoyed them. It's also how I kiss my wife. So
Of course. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I just sit there like this. She's like, "What is he doing? You sick?" She
Oh
always
my
thinks I have like an
God.
allergy,
She's like, you poor thing. She's like, okay,
and
I'll
she just
go.
goes like this with her problems. All right, love you too. Just
She's like taps you on the forehead.
pass
She's
me
like,
like a dog.
okay,
Yeah,
bye.
yeah,
Okay, well, that was a good one because that's totally what a guy would say. But mine is The Wedding Singer. And again, it's an Adam Sandler and it's Drew Barrymore. I told you you wouldn't like it. And it's
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
so that's that's like in the Billy Madison days, kind of.
Yeah,
Maybe a little after that, I think. But anyway, it
yeah,
was so Drew Barrymore is actually engaged to this guy, this, of course, big giant tool. And then, of
sure.
course, Adam Sandler's coming off a heartbreak and he's going to perform at their wedding, right?
Yeah,
I forget how to find him. But so Adam Sandler comes over for something, I forget. And so Drew Barrymore is answers the door, and Drew Barrymore's best friend is there, who's not a fan of Drew Barrymore's fiance. She's
sure,
like, meh. And so Drew Barrymore and her best friend were talking about like a wedding kiss, like on the altar, right?
sure.
And Drew Barrymore kept saying like her best friend's like, yeah, just do tongue when you guys kiss. And Drew Barrymore kept saying, but church tongue, like just a little bit,
Yeah,
church. And the best friend somehow talks Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler into like her practicing on him, like practice. And
yeah.
so yes, it's wrong. She's engaged, blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't, please don't come at us. Don't DM us. But like,
We've already said worse about the teacher situation from Never Been Kissed. So
exactly. But so they do. And it was just like super like romantic. Like it was like the kiss she wanted. It was just really cute. And so anyway, that was the first thing I thought of like first kiss. But the Spider-Man one, that's a better one if that was considered rom-com. That would for sure take the cake.
I
Yeah.
agree. Unfortunately, it was not. So it disqualified, but that was literally my first thought. So that was good. It's a good
Okay.
one.
But yeah,
Okay.
you had a couple that were really good.
Let me
So I
see.
don't
My notes are a mess right now. I'm trying to find. Okay. So this would be a good one because I think you kind of just alluded to it a little bit with what you just said. And okay, so obviously a lot of these romantic comedies are very formulaic for the most part, and they have like tropes, right? Like things that are like signature pieces or elements to a romantic comedy. And for the majority of romantic comedies, you will find a lot of those types of things in it. It could be a different story, different actors and actresses, everything. But there's certain elements that's like you're just going to have at some point. And so uh which ones which ones drive you crazy? Like, because I mean, there's a certain point where you sit down and watch one, it's going to happen. You kind of have to accept it. But there are certain things like I know, like for Rachel, she said this multiple times and it never fails. Almost every time when we watch one of these movies, this is going to happen and it's going to drive her nuts and she's going to say something every time. And it's when people just miss each other,
Oh,
right? She hates that. Or it's like when they're like right there and then they walk out the door as the other person walks in, that kind of stuff. Like she cannot stand that. And she like makes an audible sound when that happens. She's like, ugh. Like, oh, there it is. It was only a matter of time before that moment happened, but she hates that. So for her, that's one of them. But um, I do have a couple. But what do you have for that one?
So I don't know if this is one that annoys me or that I actually like, or
Yeah.
maybe I like it because it annoys me, or it annoys me because I like it. I don't know, because it's a classic. So these are mostly like in Hallmark movies, or I don't know, the classic rom-com movie that like has the classic like city girl who is like big timing and she goes back to her hometown because of some family tragedy like a death or something. She has to go back to her hometown, and then so she's reorganizing her whole life, and then just runs into this hometown hottie. But of course he's like taken. So it's like a tease to the audience. You're like, oh, cool, he's taken. That's so freaking annoying. Now what? Because now she's either going to be a homewrecker, right? Because they have to be together at this point because they've made a connection. So she's either going to be a homewrecker or we're going to hate the guy's wife or girlfriend. And no, like it's a lose-lose for a little bit there. So it's
But as the audience, we don't really care, do we? As long as they get together, it doesn't matter how it happens.
every time, as soon as like I'm like, oh, okay, there's the protagonist. There's okay, there he is. And then of course he's like, and this is my wife, or and this is my girlfriend. I'm like,
Like,
seriously?
oh,
I throw my hands up, like, of course. And it's just like, okay, now what's gonna happen? Like, this is so frustrating. Could he just be single? And then we know what happens. Anyway, I think
that's a good one.
that's
I like
mine.
it.
Yeah.
So
What's your
that was a yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Well, that's what you kind of mentioned it earlier too. It is funny in the romantic because I don't really think about this, but I did see it in an article that I was reading, and about different tropes, trying to get some different ideas and see if something would spark in me. And it is funny how in a lot of them that same scenario occurs, right? And the for the most part, the audience is cool with it. Like it's kind of like justified cheating in that sense, where it's like, yeah, they hooked up, but the other guy's kind of a douche. So, or that lady's like just an absolute witch. Like they could do better, but it's like at the same time, it's still not a good thing how it happens, right? Like it's still technically it's cheating, even if you want to justify it in your head. You know what I mean? But in those movies, you kind of accept it. You're still rooting for
right.
the one side to get together. So
The only thing that makes it like worth it, like, okay, that's fine, is when we find out that the significant other of the other person is also cheating. And it's like, oh, I knew they were bad. I knew they were bad for
we
that
just knew
person.
it.
Okay, it's fine. It cancels out. We're good.
We're fine. It's all good. They
We're
deserve this. Yeah,
good.
that's true. That's true. Okay. Well, okay. So this is not the one that I said or I chose, but something you said just reminded me of that. Like it is, and I know like there's probably a lot to this. You could probably speak to this for yourself, maybe. I don't know, people and I know this probably happens a lot more in real life, but in those situations where the person that they're, there's the person who is interested in the other person, and that other person is already in a relationship, right? When the other person is clearly a horrible person, not just to like behind the scenes, but they're also a horrible person to that person, yet they just can't seem to see that. That always drives me nuts. I'm sure it happens way more often than we think in real life. I get that. But in the movie, sometimes it's like so bad. I'm like, and it's tough too when you I'm thinking of a couple movies where like you have a pretty strong female character and personality. You can tell it's like a person who's a strong person, but then they're with a really bad person. And it's like, I just don't believe that person would put up with this nonsense because I feel like they're too strong of a character. Like if it's a character that's maybe a little bit more, you know, um, like isn't as strong in who they are, then I believe it more. But there's been a couple of movies where I'm like, I just don't buy that this person will put up with it.
Yeah. It's like we take it personally. It's like
Right.
I see these movies where like the guy is like a complete tool to the girl, and I'm like want to shake her shoulders, like, do you not see that he's a douchebag? Like
Yeah.
kind of like the
Like pause
wedding.
the movie right here. I need to talk to
Yeah.
her real quick. Yeah.
What is happening? Yeah. Or vice versa. When the
Sure.
girl is like, I don't know, however way she is to the guy, and it's like, what? So yeah, there's that too. That's a good one.
Yeah. But that's not even the one I was going to choose. The one I'm going to choose, this drives me nuts. I know I came off so passionate about that one. It seemed like that was it. It's not. So like, it's similar to my wife. The one thing that drives me nuts is if like towards the middle end of the movie, usually towards the middle, this person who has been just in love with the other person for the whole time and just wants to be with them finally musters up the courage to tell them how they feel. And they're on the verge of saying the words like, I love you, or, they share their feelings. Something happens. They're interrupted. The other person's interrupted, or they're pulled away from the situation. And then when they come back, it's like, oh, do you want to say something? And they're like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yes, you
So,
did. You did want
oh,
to say something. We've
oh.
listened to you whine and complain for 45 minutes. And then you finally get the balls to say something. And then you punk out because someone said, hey, there's a call for you. What are we doing here? What are we
Oh.
doing? Every time. It's like you see that note coming in, like a memo or a call, or someone interrupts, and they just all of a sudden they lose the courage. I'm like, oh, happened again. Here we go. Drives me nuts.
Yeah, that's a good one. Those are all really good ones.
There's a lot of fun ones in romantic comedies.
Frustrating a lot of people right now listening. They're like, oh, I hate that too. I hate it.
I hope so, because that's what I'm saying. That's why I said at the beginning of the episode, it's like these are the things that we connect about. Like I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations about this type of thing where it's like, oh, you know what else drives me nuts when they do this, this, and this. It's the best.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure we could like that was initially our topic tonight. Actually, now that I think about it, that was initially going to be the thing, the things that drive us crazy. But
just go off tangent on that alone.
Right. So it's probably better we did it this way.
That was good. Yeah. Limit and talk about other, categories.
There we go. Oh, can I say something too? Sorry. One last thing to add on to what you were talking about how you have the big city girl comes back to the old town. And it's always amazing. And I would love to know how many people this happens for, like in real life. Like the guy was a huge dork back when they were going to school together. And then he's just jacked. You know what I mean? Just like a chiseled jaw, like I'm a man now. You know what I mean? Completely. He was like Porky Pig in elementary school, just waddling around like eating, Twinkies and chocolate milk. And now he's just lifting hay bales, like, taking care of horses. And it's just like, oh my gosh, this guy's the best. Like, I would just love to know if that's happened for some people, because it's amazing, that transformation.
DM us if it's happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah. DM us, don't just DM us pictures. We want to see the child versus the grown man or woman that you are now. And we want to see the transformation. Because yeah, but only if you live on a farm. If you don't live on a farm, it doesn't count.
How about an ag city counts?
Okay, that's fine.
Like my hometown, Merced.
Are you thinking interesting? Are you thinking about someone specifically?
No.
Deb just got like 5 like roly-poly kids from her past in her mind. It's like, I wonder, he might be jacked now, jacked and single.
How he's doing? No.
Yeah.
Check back when I go back home for Christmas in December.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. That sounds like the perfect scenario.
Right? Exactly.
So, all right.
Check back with you.
All right. I can't wait. Follow up.
Okay.
Did I have one more? I think I have one more, huh?
We have one more. Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. This is the last one. Okay. A favorite scene. Because I feel like, again, there's certain scenes, and I don't know if you ever do this. There's times where like I'll be randomly thinking about movies, and then a favorite scene of mine comes up, and I'll go to YouTube and just like see if they have that scene for any kind of movie, comedies, action movies, whatever it may be. And so there's some scenes in romantic comedies that I just enjoy so much, and that when I think of a romantic comedy, I think of. So for you, what are some of those like standout scenes that you think of when you think of romantic comedies?
So I just realized this doesn't count, but I don't care. I'm going to count it anyway because it's not really a romantic comedy. It's just a romance movie.
We'll be the judge of that. Go ahead.
I can't. No, A Walk to Remember. That's not romantic comedy at all.
Not real fun, is it?
That's Nicholas.
That is not a funny walk.
Very sad. But you know what? Here's my favorite. I don't care. This is what I have, and I don't have anything else. I'm just going to say it. So in A Walk to Remember, when Landon takes Jamie to the state line and has her like put one foot on one side or the other, like has her straddle it. And she's like, what do we do? What am I doing? So back, like, let's say an hour earlier into the movie. She's giving him a ride home from like a tutoring session, right? And she's dying with cancer, but he doesn't know it at the time. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen A Walk to Remember. But and she's like telling him her hopes and dreams and like some bucket list stuff she has, and one of them was to be in two places at once. So throughout the movie they start to date, kind of like, in like, you just don't think that that's what they're doing, but they're dating. And so he has her he drives her to they get out of the car in the middle of the highway, one foot's on one, he's like, put your foot here, put your foot here. And she's like, what are we doing? And he's like, you're straddling the state line of, I don't know, I don't remember what states, this state and this state. I gotta look it up. And she's like, okay. And he's like, you're in two places at once. Oh my God, like crying emoji, like that like kills me. And then she's all excited and all happy. And I'm like, who? No one ever will do anything to that magnitude ever. That I can think of. Like, that is amazing. That is so sweet. Of course, it's Nicholas Sparks. He can create anything.
Sure.
One pen. So like that was the first thing that came from my, again, it's not a romantic comedy. It's not
There's nothing funny about that movie at all.
Nothing funny about that movie, but that's what I have written down, and I'm just not changing it. It's just,
hey, don't let me stop you. That's a good one. No, I might edit this whole section into something like, oh, Deb thinks this is a comedy, just for the clicks. It's like, Deb thinks A Walk to Remember is hilarious.
Hilarious. Oh,
yeah.
That's so good though. I'm trying, as soon as because when you mentioned the Spider-Man reference,
yeah,
like that's not, and I looked at my notes and I'm like, oh my God, A Walk to Remember is not rom-com. And then so this whole time I've been trying to think of a different one, and I can't think.
I was wondering why you were fighting so hard for the Spider-Man one. It's like, it's not that big of a deal, Deb. Just let it go. Now I understand. You had something writing on it later down the road.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's mine. If I think of something before we hit end, I'll tell you. But that was my favorite moment.
Okay. So I have one that I have written down, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this on a podcast before. And then I have another one that actually just popped in my head. So the one that I always think of and I always enjoy, because I think it's just a fun scene. And if you don't smile while you're watching this, then I think you're a monster. But it's my best friend's wedding, when they're in
I love that movie.
When they're at the restaurant and they start singing.
That's a great one.
I always forget. I always blank on the name of the song.
It's
I Say a Little Prayer for You.
Yeah.
Diane Warwick, right? So yeah, or Dionne Warwick. Love that. It's just a fun scene. You know what I mean? And it's just a funny, it's fun. Yeah. So I enjoy just watching that scene alone. It's a good movie, but I just enjoy that scene specifically.
Yeah.
Love it. Then oh yeah, go ahead, please.
I was gonna say, my sister and I, we quote that movie to each other. We'll like send each other quotes of The Office, but we'll also send each other quotes of My Best Friend's Wedding. We love that movie.
It's awesome. Sandra Bullock's very good. I like The Proposal too. Sorry, it's not Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts, yeah.
For the longest time, I would get those two confused.
Oh my God. Well, they're both classic.
I know, and I feel like they were doing a lot of movies around the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but I feel like that's like, it was like a lot. Well, I don't know.
Geniality is just like a classic.
Sure.
That one's amazing.
Sure. Yeah. So I have not confused those two for a long time, and of course it happens here on air. That's embarrassing. But yeah, no, Julia Roberts. Yeah, so I always enjoy that one. And the other one that popped in my head, it's just a funny scene. It's a funny scene from one of my favorite romantic comedies, but it's not even like a romantic scene. It's just in the movie. It's in Crazy Stupid Love, when all of the pieces that have been kind of swirling around each other finally connect, and you understand like all of the people who have been in the movie who have issues with each other meet in the backyard, and they all start fighting. It's so funny to me, because they all start connecting the dots, like, oh, I'm mad at you for this reason. This person's like, well, I'm mad at you for this reason. And then it's like this huge fight. And then the cops show up, and there's a line in there where he's like, hey, next time, just keep it in the family. And I think God's like, that's actually what I sent you. It's what I sent you about your Mermaid Con thing, that GIF.
Oh,
it's from that exact scene where he starts laughing because of what the cop says. So I think that scene's hilarious. and I enjoy that every time I watch that movie.
That scene is really funny. My favorite is when, you know, Steve Carell's friend, that big guy, he like punches out Ryan Gosling, and then Steve Carell like bear hugs him.
Right.
Or no, or maybe it was the opposite. I think Ryan Gosling punches out his friend, and then Steve Carell comes from behind him and kind of bear hugs him and goes, "You just punched my friend." Or something. His bear hug was like his attack.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
hilarious.
I think in that whole scuffle, I think there's a part where I think Gosling kind of just slipped in, and he's like, who's grabbing me there?
Yeah.
Like, whose hand is that? Just like a very like quick line, but yeah, the whole thing is just very funny to me. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was qualified. Mine was not, but I don't care. I'm just keeping it. That was
Okay, wait, you know what? Screw it. We'll put Spider-Man in there too. It counts. There we go.
And yes, that was the best kiss. I'll walk to remember. Best romantic part. Oh, so good. Anyway.
You know, go back to that Spider-Man thing. I don't know if you saw all those Spider-Man movies, but is it the second movie or the third movie when he does that same kiss with a different woman? Ooh, the disrespect.
The disrespect. You can't just remake that, okay?
He did in front of the whole city.
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, if you guys do watch those movies, you'll know like he does it. And it was Mary Jane, Kirsten Dunst was very upset. She's like, hey, that was our kiss, Spidey. What'd you do that for? So understandably so. He messed up.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just want to bring that full circle too.
The original is always better.
In that case, yes. I think so. So, well, there we go. That's our discussion, conversation, whatever you want to call it, about romantic comedies. That was fun.
You guys enjoyed.
Yeah, if you guys did enjoy, let us know, because maybe we'll do that for other types of movies too.
Yeah. We were thinking of, remember we were going back and forth between rom-coms and scary movies.
There's some fun stuff for scary movies. Now, the funny thing is, we may not be the best qualified, because I don't know about you. I'm not a huge scary movie person, but I've seen enough where I think I can put a list together.
Yeah.
But you know,
I have been forced to see enough, for sure, by my friends and whatnot, because I live alone. I just refused. I can't watch them.
Makes sense.
Can't do it. Maybe someday I can do it, but no, I have to. Yeah. If I do, I like thrillers. I'd like to do a thriller one. I like thrillers, anything like get your blood pressure going and you're like, what's going to happen? But even the John Wick ones I can do, but like after that, I got to chase it with like a comedy or Sex in the City or something to fall asleep.
I've been there before. I've watched the movies and like, wasn't expecting that. Need to watch something funny now, because that was tough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Yeah, maybe we'll do thrillers. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Again, if you guys enjoyed this, if you guys were like, this was awful, an awful hour of my time, then let us know so we save our time and we don't do that to you again. Yeah. So, all right, cool. Well, we've taken up enough of everybody's time. Deb, where can they follow us?
You guys can follow us on Twitter at Connectable Pod, and then on every other social media platform at Connectable Podcast.
Ooh, look at you go.
I got it.
That was very clean. Stuck the landing, everything. I give it a 10 out of 10. Nice job.
Not practice. Thanks.
That might be the key. I feel like the weeks you come in and like, I got this. And then it's like, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's me squeak. Bring it full circle.
I do my best work on the fly, like I do with my teaching job. So it's, hopefully
none of the parents listen to that. Make it up.
It's fine. It's for everyone's benefit. It's okay.
Run if you want. Jumping jacks. I don't know. It probably helps you. So there you go.
Wait, what are we doing today? I don't know. I'll figure out after I take roll. Give me a second.
Well, that actually makes me feel good. It's not like you're just treating this podcast that way. It's like every area of life is the same thing.
Okay. I don't know what I'm eating for breakfast tomorrow. It's fine.
Okay.
Actually, I do. It's eggs. I make eggs in a little egg thing that goes in the microwave. We can talk about that later. It's like my new thing now.
Or not at all. I think we're good on the egg talk.
Yep.
All right.
How I cook.
How to cook?
That's how I cook.
Oh, that's how you cook. I thought you said you want to do a podcast on how to cook. I'm like, Deb, you've clearly said on this podcast you don't enjoy cooking. No, we might as well we'll do horror movies and cooking in the same podcast.
Deb's how to cook. Put shit in the microwave. That will be my tagline.
There you go. We're not going to do that. So, all right, you guys, we'll see you next week. See
Bye.
ya. Thanks for watching the show. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you like it, share it, and hit the subscribe button to get a new episode every week. We'll see you next time on the Connectable podcast.